The Battle of Manila Bay in 1574, also known as the Limahong Invasion, was a crucial confrontation that saw the fledgling Spanish colony in the Philippines face a formidable threat from the Chinese pirate Limahong. This battle not only highlighted the strategic importance of Manila, but also demonstrated the resilience and cooperation of the Spanish colonists and indigenous Filipino forces in defending their territory. The Spanish colonization of the Philippines began in earnest with the arrival of Miguel López de Legazpi in 1565. Establishing the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu, Legazpi's subsequent expeditions aimed to expand Spanish control over the archipelago. By 1571, Legazpi had successfully taken Manila, which became the capital of the new Spanish colony. Manila's strategic location on the western edge of Luzon made it an ideal hub for trade and administration. The city quickly became the center of Spanish colonial activity in the Philippines, serving as a crucial link in the Spanish galleon trade between Asia and the Americas. However, its prominence also made it a target for external threats, including the notorious Chinese pirate Limahong. Limahong, also known as Lin Feng, was a Chinese pirate and warlord who terrorized the South China Sea in the mid-16th century. Born in Guangdong Province, Limahong built a powerful fleet and a reputation for ruthlessness through a series of successful raids along the Chinese coast and in Southeast Asia. His activities eventually drew the ire of the Chinese Ming dynasty, prompting him to seek new territories to plunder. By 1573, Limahong had set his sights on the Philippines, attracted by the wealth and strategic importance of Manila. His goal was not only to loot the city but also to establish a base of operations in the archipelago, from which he could continue his piratical activities with greater security. In late 1573, Limahong conducted preliminary raids on the northern coast of Luzon, testing the defenses of the Spanish colony. These attacks alarmed the Spanish authorities, who recognized the threat posed by the pirates' fleet. Governor-General Guido de Lavazares began preparing for a possible large-scale assault on Manila. The Spanish fortifications in Manila were still in their early stages, with Fort Santiago being the primary defensive structure. Recognizing the need for additional support, the Spanish called upon local Filipino allies, including the warriors of Raja Lacangela and Raja Suleiman, who had previously resisted Spanish conquest but had since formed alliances with the colonizers. These indigenous forces would play a crucial role in the coming battle. On November 29, 1574, Limahong's fleet arrived at Manila Bay. His armada consisted of 62 ships and approximately 2,000 men, a formidable force that greatly outnumbered the Spanish garrison and their Filipino allies. Limahong's strategy involved a direct assault on the city, hoping to overwhelm the defenders with sheer numbers and the element of surprise. Limahong's forces launched their initial assault on Manila on November 30, 1574. The pirates attacked the city from the sea and the Pasig River, using small boats to navigate the river's narrow channels. The Spanish and Filipino defenders, caught off guard by the scale and intensity of the attack, struggled to repel the invaders. The defense of Fort Santiago became the focal point of the battle. Spanish soldiers, led by Governor-General Guido de Lavazares and Captain Juan de Salcedo, mounted a determined defense of the fort. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the defenders utilized their superior weaponry and fortifications to hold off the attackers. The narrow entrances to the fort and the strategic placement of cannons allowed the Spanish to inflict significant casualties on Limahong's forces. The indigenous Filipino warriors played a vital role in the defense of Manila. Raja Lacangela and Raja Suleiman, along with their men, fought fiercely alongside the Spanish. Their knowledge of the local terrain and guerrilla tactics helped to disrupt Limahong's attacks and prevent the pirates from gaining a foothold in the city. The turning point in the battle came when reinforcements from Pampanga, led by the Spanish Captain Martin de Goiti, arrived to support the beleaguered defenders. These fresh troops provided much-needed manpower and morale, enabling the defenders to launch a counterattack against Limahong's forces. Realizing that his forces could not breach the city's defenses and facing mounting casualties, Limahong decided to retreat. On December 1, 1574, the pirate fleet withdrew from Manila Bay, abandoning their plans to conquer the city. Limahong and his surviving men retreated to Pangasinan, where they attempted to establish a new base of operations but were eventually driven out by Spanish and Filipino forces. The Battle of Manila Bay underscored the vulnerability of the Spanish colony and prompted significant efforts to strengthen Manila's defenses. The Spanish expanded Fort Santiago and constructed additional fortifications around the city, ensuring that future attacks could be more effectively repelled. The battle also highlighted the importance of cooperation between the Spanish colonists and indigenous Filipinos. The successful defense of Manila was a result of the combined efforts of both groups, setting a precedent for future alliances and collaborations. This cooperation will be crucial in maintaining Spanish control over the Philippines and addressing subsequent threats. The Battle of Manila Bay in 1574 remains a significant event in Philippine history, symbolizing the resilience and determination of the early Spanish colonists and their Filipino allies in the face of external threats. It demonstrated the strategic importance of Manila and solidified its status as the capital of the Spanish East Indies. The battle also serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between colonial powers and indigenous populations during the early years of Spanish rule in the Philippines.